Pastor Amanda asked me to share my experiences with the refugee families in Las Cruces and why I feel called to help others, my first thought was, I can't do this. That sounded to me a little like a testimonial, which is terrifying to a Minnesota Lutheran in the era of Lake Wobegon. Those of you who do not know that culture, it meant don't talk about yourself because we want to be humble. But I decided I should go out of my comfort zone and give it a try, especially because I wanted to share some of the stories from Las Cruces. But first, let me give you just a little background that I think is relevant of my life. After high school, I went to nursing school by sheer happenstance. It certainly didn't seem like a calling. I went to Swedish Hospital School of Nursing in Minneapolis, a 3-year program. And after the first 6 months of classes, we worked 40 hours a week for the next 3 years, including still going to classes. I always said I didn't go to a religious hospital nursing program. But then I remember that every morning at 7 a.m. to start the shift, the nurses would gather at the nurses' station and sing a hymn and say the Lord's Prayer. Much later, I found out our nursing school was associated with the Swedish Covenant Church. I should have had a clue. Each class also picked a class hymn, and ours was Take My Life and Let It Be. And looking back on my life, I think our class hymn must have had a bigger effect on me than I realized at the time. As it turned out, nursing was a good choice for me, and I felt I was doing something meaningful with my life. In the 60s, I was able to use my nursing career to work in underdeveloped countries on the hospital ship Hope, which was a teaching program plus giving medical care to the indigent at no cost. I spent a year in Guayaquil, Ecuador, and 8 months in Conakry, Guinea in West Africa. The experience was an eye-opener for me. I saw people living with dirt floors, no electricity, no running water, and lacking the basic necessities for good health care. There was little or no dental care, which caused tooth loss and eventually affected nutrition. Seeing firsthand how unfair and difficult life was for many people in the world, it sparked my interest in social justice issues for the rest of my life. And I wanted to be a part of the solution to make people's lives better. In the late 1970s and through 2005, I was able to volunteer with medical groups for short-term trips to Guatemala. There again, I saw how the poor lived without the basic necessities for health care and little if any dental care. I saw people that worked so hard and conditions never improved over the years. I also saw the results of corrupt, repressive government at work. Several years in the 80s, we were unable to go there due to their civil war. These experiences provided me with some empathy and understanding of why people from other parts of the world leave their country to find safer and a better life in the United States. When the opportunity to volunteer with the Border Service Corps came up, I was anxious to be a part of it. I felt it to be an opportunity for me to be a blessing to others. The refugee families we met in Las Cruces were seeking asylum. Most of them had paid a coyote to get them to the U.S. border. A coyote is a person who, for large sums of money will help you get across countries and borders. While in Las Cruces, I was kept busy most of the time doing health screening. This gave me an opportunity to talk to most of the families. I had an interpreter some of the time, which was helpful, especially in hearing their stories. We heard many incredible, heartbreaking stories, and I will share a few with you. Aniele was a young woman with a 2-year-old child, Adriana. They had traveled from Honduras with her sister and nephew, and it had been 3 months since they left Honduras. On the trip, the coyote abandoned them twice, but with the third coyote, they got them to the border. They had been chased and shot at during their trip. Right at the U.S. border, in their last steps, Mexican soldiers were chasing them when an American border agent opened the gate and let them in. The border agent took them to El Paso for processing, which is what happens to all those crossing the border in that region. Unfortunately, her sister and nephew were sent back to Juarez by the authorities, which broke her heart. She and her daughter were on their way to South Carolina, where her husband had been for 3 years. He had never seen Adriana, as Aniele was pregnant with her when they left. Maylin was a young woman traveling from Nicaragua with her 11-year-old son, Stephen. They had a long journey. They traveled by foot, car, and truck with 8 other people. In the semi-truck, they were all squeezed into a sleeping area above the cab for a 10-hour ride at one time and 14 hours at another. They said it was crowded, but the driver kept the air conditioning on for their comfort. They were also going to North Carolina. Sandra was a young woman with a daughter, Darlie, 4 years old, and son, Enoch, 6 years. She was from El Salvador and had been on the road a month. They paid the coyote $3,500 each and had 1 meal a day and a small bottle of water on their trip. They traveled by car, bus, walking. Their destination was Delaware. While I don't know what led these refugees to seek asylum in the U.S., I think their situations must have been intolerable for them to have endured the suffering and taken such risks as they did. The news about immigration is confusing, to say the least, and those seeking asylum are often talked about in derogatory terms. What I know is all the refugees we met were ordinary people and were very gracious. I felt privileged to be able to welcome them and hopefully to have been of some help.